3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
The World Wrestling Federation, for over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
Oh, it's live, pal.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never, ever end.
Everybody 3 count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Or maybe The Rock has got to beat Triple H himself, which means he's got to beat the game in the middle of the ring. And he has a $2 for a wife.
You're too damn selfish, and that's why you're sitting there with a bad leg, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
3 ain't enough now. I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
Oh my goodness, what do we do? There's a 1. There's a 2. Oh,
Wow.
Well, you can take that brass ring and shove it up your ass.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 3 Count Thursday. We are live here on our Facebook page, and we are glad to be with you on a Thursday night. It is Thursday, October the 8th, 2020. We are the podcast of the millennium. We have tons to talk about this week, including looking back, celebrating history, and changing everything. But make sure you go to 3countthursday.com. That is our homepage. You can find all of our social media links, our merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net.
What a maneuver.
Thank you, Tim. We also have our Patreon page, patreon.com/3Count Thursday, our home network, of course, NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We also stream daily at leebsports.com. Ryan, how do you spell that?
Of course, that's LEEIB sports.com.
That is the one. And make sure you check out the sponsor of the show, of course, Arena Eats. You heard the ad at the start. We'll play it again throughout the night and about halfway, and then again at the end. We appreciate them coming on board with NGSC Sports. Also, our Collar and Elbow brand deal. If you go to store.collarandelbowbrand.com, use promo code 3COUNT, you get 10% off each and every order. So make sure you do that.
Now, just to remember, the
Yes.
promo code, that's the number 3?
Always.
Gotcha.
Always the number 3. Never the word 3.
Gotcha.
Always the number 3. So let's go around the room here, Ryan.
How you doing?
So good.
Perfect.
How
Tim.
you doing?
How you doing? Tim, you're
I am also so good.
there you go. And we have intern Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
How you doing?
Hi. I'm doing really good. I'll tell you what, real good. Real good. I had a strange experience in the men's room at the Kissing Tower Hill in Hershey Park on Saturday, but I don't know if I want to talk about it on the air. But just know I had a weird experience.
All right. Well, yes, Ryan, you look,
Mark, you oftentimes celebrate Tuesdays at the famous Roots Market. Did you find anything wrestling related there recently?
Hey, I did. I found something.
What?
Tuesday at Roots Market. I have it here. Look
I
at this.
can't believe that.
I have it right here. We didn't even plan this, but I happen to have it.
What a beauty.
Look at this. This is 1985. Wow. A 1985 wrestling magazine, WWF, with Mr. T on the cover.
The beaut.
It's practically brand new. It has all the little, it has the ads in there. You can send off and get the magazine. Some kid wanted lunch with the junkyard dog. They talked about Ricky Steamboat being a newcomer to the Federation and King Kong Bundy. Jimmy Hart just came in, and the sucker only wanted $5 for it.
What a sucker!
Didn't know what
I
what
pity
he
the fool
didn't
that
know what
would
he
pick this
had.
up for $5.
Woo! What a beaut!
Not a clue.
Unbelievable!
What a beaut!
Unbelievable! If you're following along with us on the live video, give us a like and a share on that video. We'd appreciate that. And interact with us throughout the night. William's in here, Laura, Jay, Jason. I saw Charlie. I saw Aaron in there.
Hey, everybody.
I saw Devin. Got a big crowd in here with us on a Thursday night. I'm liking
Hello,
that.
Devin.
I'm liking that a lot, and hope everybody's having a good week. Yeah, I checked on all of my screens, and we seem to be coming through. We seem to be coming through, clear on our end. So I don't know what's. Hopefully that's doing better for you, Laura. All right, let's jump into it, guys. We have our
Jim. We never ask. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad to be here talking some wrestling on a Thursday night. It's one of the things I look forward to most in my weeks at this point. So we're doing all right. We're doing it. If I make it to Thursday every week with the 3 Count Thursday, I think I'm doing pretty well at that point. So yeah, hope everybody's having a good one. And let's I just want to check one thing here. All right, let's jump into it with our weekly segment. Looking at things that happened on October the 8th, we have 2 birthdays this week. Today, Paul Burchill, born in 1979, and the man on my shirt, The Miz, in 1980. So happy birthday, Paul Burchill and The Miz. And we have just 4 items I selected, going all the way back to 1978. Evelyn Stevens defeats the Fabulous Moolah for the NWA Women's World Heavyweight title, ending Moolah's 4th reign in Dallas, Texas. She would drop the title back to Moolah just 2 days later. In 1990, Jerry Lawler won a 21-man tournament to begin his 7th of an eventual 27 USWA Unified World Heavyweight titles in Memphis, Tennessee. The title had been vacated when the Snowman no-showed a title defense on August 27th, 1990, and left the company.
The Snowman.
In 2002, then WWE ring announcer Lillian Garcia released her debut single "Shout" on this day on Universal Records, further fueling speculation that WWE's SmackDown Records label was going to be shut down. And finally, in 2010, CM Punk was shifted over to the Raw brand. So these are items that happened October the 8th in pro wrestling history. Tim, what are you chowing on there?
I'm gonna eat, goddammit.
Well, it's definitely no arena eats, but I got myself a pizza cheesesteak from a local establishment here. It's just a cheesesteak with sauce on it, which is amazing. And I got some Frenchy fries here. But I gotta eat. I'm trying, it's hard to build this body.
You can't build bodies like ours without eating.
You got any gabagool on that sandwich?
Gabagool and some Capicola. Yeah.
So Charlie says not to plug another podcast, but he highly recommends the new episode of Grill and JR where they cover the Miz.
The same JR's podcast. Get off.
Speaking of JR, did you guys see the picture today of JR getting a pedicure and suspiciously showing the outline of his wang?
No. Are you serious?
I hate to be this way. I'm shocked he doesn't have diabetes and they're taking his feet already. I'm shocked at that.
That old man is horny.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's his Twitter feed is promoting the podcast, promoting the sauces, and just retweeting attractive women pictures with remember cowboy hat blue circle. Her.
a long time, many years from now, when I become a good old JR sometime, I hope that my social media can devolve as gracefully as Jim Ross's. Like, I can't wait to get to the point where I just don't care anymore, and I'm just gonna hit on everything that walks. I'm gonna shoot all my shots.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Like,
Why
that
not?
is the dream. Now, my wife may
I was
have
gonna
something
say,
like, right.
I was gonna say the only negative caveat there is
but
your
if I am
dear
living a Jim Ross life, she will have died in a tragic scooter accident.
in a scooter accident. Yeah,
motorized vehicle.
Motorized scooter. Yeah, Charlie, Conrad hooked old JR up with that blue chew, and he hasn't looked back since. No,
hooked him up with the blue chew and been rolling in the green.
Yeah, no kidding. It's worked out well for old Connie and JR. All right, let's we did the long form pod, Ryan and I, on Tuesday, recapping NXT TakeOver from this past weekend. But Tim, I wanted to ask you one thing about the show in particular, and then if there's anything
Sure.
Tim or Mark, or any other thoughts we have on the show or our listeners have on the show. But we know you're not the hugest Finn Balor fan in the entire world. We know that. It's been well documented on this program. But I felt like Sunday's Finn Balor Kyle O'Reilly match, and it may have been because of Kyle O'Reilly, was very different in terms of Finn Balor and his typical matches. What were your thoughts on the main event?
I loved it. And apparently the match got cut short.
Really?
Wow.
So that whole spot at the end where Finn gets his jaw broke and then they hit the coup de grace and it's a go home, that's wrapping it early. Imagine what else was going to happen.
Because that match was like 28. It was like 29 minutes.
That was a decent sized match,
and it was cut short. Wow.
And I could have gone for more. Like,
that's what we said on Tuesday.
Finn, absolutely impressed. It was really nice to see him be in the ring with someone his size and his speed. Great, absolutely fantastic showing for Kyle O'Reilly, who still has, like, if the stats are right, he has less than double-digit singles matches in NXT.
Okay, I was going to say,
if you count his entire run in NXT, he has fewer than 10 singles matches, or
I believe that,
one-on-one matches in NXT. Everything else has been tags or six-mans or the War Game stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Kyle O'Reilly as a singles competitor is going to be off the charts, and I may be jumping ahead a little bit, but it's unfortunate what happened with Ridge Holland.
Oh.
Because that entire storyline now has kind of exploded, much like
Ridge Holland's leg.
Yeah, it's
well, gone. Because I watched Dynamite last night, because I wasn't going to specifically necessarily going to talk about anything from NXT last night here, but we can talk about because obviously that was the big hook at the end of the night, was Adam Cole just getting yoked over the barricade and Ridge Holland just standing there like, yeah, I did it, what up? And then he's in the match with Birch, and then Lorcan came out, did the leap over because somebody had shared a video, because I'm seeing people like, holy hell, nasty injury and I'm this and that, and the video somebody shared didn't actually have the spot in it, and I was like, where was the injury? And then and then somebody else shared, and I was like, oh no.
Apparently it's worse actually watching the feed, because there is
You can hear him scream.
huge scream.
Oh yeah, well that's
I
yeah.
haven't seen that part yet, but I'm just like, I see it. His toe gets caught, and like it's there's another wrestler that this has happened to before, Chris Marvel. Toe gets caught on a dive, and he just obliterates his patella. It's just gone.
Yeah, because I watched. Typically, I'll in this era.
You ain't gotta lie, Craig. Jericho was having a birthday or some shit, and you were just watching Jericho to figure out what the hell.
I wanted to see that Luther match. I had to see that Luther main event.
You're a big let chaos. What's it? Chaos. Let Chaos Project have a T-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I already got my blood and guts shirt. I might as well get the Luther shirt.
Luther Pentaco.
So I watched the Hulu feed today, and yeah, the scream is just, it's gross.
Also, you do know that the day after they put NXT up on the network.
Yeah, but I don't think it comes on until the evening, right?
I think it's available like during the day.
Oh, because I mean, like I just jump on it and it's right there on Hulu, and it's like, I think they even cut it down a little because
they cut it down a lot, and that's kind of why I don't like if I watch it on Hulu. Like even though I have like Hulu with live TV, and I have NXT DVR'd, when I go back to watch it, they get rid of the DVR'd part, and it's weird. Only the cut.
Oh, that's strange. That is strange.
I hate it. Okay. It just drives me bonkers. It's almost a reason why I might switch to like YouTube TV.
Yeah, I've heard good things about YouTube TV, but I thought one time I had gone on the network the morning after, and it wasn't up yet. Like I felt like maybe they don't get it on till the afternoon or something.
I'll have to do some digging.
Yeah, so I think that's why I was doing it, but I could just watch it on my DVR as well. But the Hulu, it's easier than fast forwarding because I'm a fat lazy guy.
So. Yeah, it's okay.
But I thought TakeOver as a whole was great.
For those who
felt like a takeover.
Yeah, for those who didn't watch you and Ryan break down
and
TakeOver,
them, by the way,
and I'm not here to shame anybody.
I am. I'm fine with that.
I'm not here to yuck on your yum, okay? But what was your guys' match of the night? Was it Finn and Kyle?
Mine actually was the Cruiserweight title match. I love that. It was real close though. It was like neck and neck. It was like 1 and 1A, but I gave the edge to the Cruiserweight match because I feel like the title match, we expect it to be great. It's the main event, whereas, and not to say that the Cruiserweights aren't expected to be good, but I mean that was unbelievable. It was a fantastic match.
What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I think I also said the Cruiserweight match. It's in my match of the year contendership right now, and a lot because, like Jim said, it was a bit of a surprise. Like I've seen Strickland a lot on the independents. I know he can absolutely go. So yeah, that match really, really delivered. The main event, don't get me wrong, I give that 8 out of 8 Finn Balor abs. So
all 8 of them.
All 8 abs, right? He filled all 8. 8 out of 8. You can't. But
you don't get the bulge. You don't give it the bulge though.
No,
you're not including the Balor Club. No,
no, I would not include the club in my and I probably should. He could beat me to death with that club, probably. All of us, really. It's mammoth.
One swing.
Just Thor's hammer.
Just bopping
strangely arousing.
It's Thanos. Whatever you want to. Iron Man dies at the end. I don't know. I don't know this shit.
Yes,
I am wandering where I don't belong.
It's fine.
It's Mark. What was your match of the night from TakeOver?
Well, I'll tell you what, the Cruiserweight title, it was tough to beat that. I really liked the heavyweight championship match with Finn and O'Reilly was real good. But I mean, just because we saw Shane Strickland as he was known locally and independent wrestling, I want to go with the Cruiserweight match. Real good. It was
okay.
It was an I was gonna say it was an A show, I would say overall, as most takeovers are.
Yeah, I gave this one an A. Tim, was your match of the night the main event?
It was. There wasn't really much on the show that like I didn't think was above average or better. I mean, I'm obviously not giving any credit to Kushida beating up a paper bag. It was really fun seeing him beat up that paper bag.
It was. It absolutely was.
It's
Look,
it's really
paper
cute.
bag-
You did Doc Brown again. Cool.
That paper Brown's bag is a little immature, and that's all that's holding him back.
Yeah, that's all. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
That's all.
One thing that did kind of
Also, Kushida almost ripping the arm off of that paper bag does not make Kushida a heel. Let's make that very clear.
Not in my book, it doesn't.
That's one less hand to touch with.
He's a heel.
One thing that kind of missed for me is the Queen of the Half Armor returning, Ember Moon.
Are you not a
boy? No.
You're not an Ember Moon fan, or just that using her in that spot didn't do it for you?
I feel as though like it's not hers. Like she's super talented, but she is to paraphrase off Katy Perry, she's a plastic bag floating in the wind. Like that's like she has no direction to me. Like
Okay.
I get this. Like I watched some of the promo that she cut on Wednesday, and even then, it was very directionless. I was personally more hyped for Toni Storm showing back up and calling out Io Shirai, but then like we get Ember right after. It's a bit weird for me. I hope NXT can do her some good to kind of like get her back on the right track. She has been gone for forever because of her injuries. But it is good to see her back, but not impressed so far.
The promo last night was weird.
I drove for miles and 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 miles. Like really?
It didn't seem to fit her.
Right. It's not her promo. That's not her thing.
Yeah, like the promo for sure last night. I didn't mind her in the in the spot, in the vignettes, whatever, but like the actual promo last night felt a little strange. Yeah, a little strange for me. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm thrilled for her that she's back, because that is a hard injury to return from. So the fact that she was able to come back from that is huge. But yeah, Toni Storm back in the mix, like the NXT division absolutely is stacked. One of these weeks I want to kind of do like a dig in and to see like which women's brand across the board is number one, and like that's splitting the three WWE brands against each other, and then including obviously like Ring of Honor and Impact and AEW, because like I mean, just off the top of my head, I feel like the NXT women's brand may be the strongest, and maybe it's just because that's what I've been programmed to believe for the last couple of years, but I feel like it might still be there.
Impact.
I feel like NXT or Impact, it's going to read 1-2, one or the other. Yeah.
Yeah, like Impact is solid right now. Ring of Honor doesn't really have very many women right now. It's kind of unfortunate with the bubble. Like they're kind of
that's
in
fair.
a different world. But also,
I mean, even prior bubble, they had the Allure. They lost Kelly Klein. There wasn't much going on prior to COVID or anything.
Right. I mean, I completely get that. Like, it's not necessarily the it's not Impact for sure. Like Jordan Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, Like just those two being at the top of that division is it's a pretty good 1-2 combination.
Yeah, that's definitely a strong
now,
one.
NXT, now that Tony Storm is back with NXT and Ember Moon is back, like NXT is definitely reloading.
Sure. And I want to see how the draft shakes things out, and if there's any potential call ups or anything like that, kind of play into it as well, because that is sometimes the case, and that even if per the rules and standards that WWE released today, NXT not a part of it, but there can always be call ups that happen. I think last year the Street Profits were part of the draft. I think there may have been one or two other NXT stars that were drafted up, so to speak.
But I think that the Street Profits had been doing their stuff they had been doing their backstage segments, but haven't really been in the ring.
Right. They weren't officially on brand.
So the draft was their way. Like, there's no one really in NXT right now. Like, we'll talk about the draft a little later. I'm very excited.
Yeah. We'll get there. Any other thoughts on TakeOver before we move on here?
A real quick look, Jim. The only NXT draft that was broadcast was the Street Profits from NXT.
Okay, yeah.
Very good memory, sir.
I do what I can. All right, let's move to what I think is the biggest story for Monday Night Raw, and what should have closed the show on Monday Night Raw, and that is Mustafa Ali as we know right now, the leader of Retribution. It was a confrontation with Retribution coming to the ring when it's supposed to be the Hurt Business versus Ali and Ricochet and Apollo Crews. And then all of a sudden, the Retribution, the lights start flickering and all of that. And Ali was joining the Hurt Business, only to turn his back and actually reveal himself as the leader of Retribution. And yes, Tim.
It was 1-on-1 Ali versus MVP.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, it was throughout the night. It was the three of them and the Hurt Business. But yeah, you're right. It was,
because there was the open invitation for somebody to join the Hurt Business. And I immediately thought, okay, Ali's joining the Hurt Business.
Yeah, which I would have been fine with.
The other way, like, I had completely disassociated the hacker from Retribution.
Right.
But yeah, I'm fine. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. So like, that was the thing is, if you rewind to this show a couple of weeks ago when Mace Windu and Jar Jar Binks and Slapdick and whatever the rest of the names were revealed, and the new masks and
Itchy and Scratchy
and Kmart Bane's mask got released and things like that. And it was just like, man, I was like, I want to defend this so bad. I've been trying to defend. I've been trying to, like, even when you almost make it indefensible, I was able to find the light in it until the names and the goofy masks. And then of course last week that, they may or may not have had COVID or whatever the situation there was. But then this week, and my whole thing was like, I hope they have a leader. And when they have a leader, I hope that it's somebody that, that moves the needle. I think Ali does that. Like, I think, some people, and it's obviously different than if it was a CM Punk, than if it was a Randy Orton, than if it was a John Cena or something like that. But this is in a different way because, Mustafa Ali's been a guy that, like, people have wanted to push and have pushed for a long time. He was getting some form of a push last year. Last year before Mania 35, and then he got hurt, and then Kofi got that spot. And then, they start doing the hacker thing, and we think it's going to be Mustafa Ali. It was pretty much guaranteed because because of the ring and all of that. And then that kind of goes away, and then he starts wrestling main event, and like, and now looking back on it, it's like this, all of these things kind of tied together, and it seems to be like it was actually really well done. Now, whether or not that was by action or by accident, that's another thing, and we'll wait 5 years till Bruce can tell that on a podcast. But man, like I think that this is actually a really good thing. The only thing I didn't like about the way this was done is, like I said, that it wasn't the close of Monday Night Raw. And like, I get it. You want to have your WWE champion at the end of the show. I get it. We're also not leading into a pay-per-view, so it can be a little bit more forgivable if you don't have the champion as the closing segment this week. I think not that this wasn't impactful, but I think it's more impactful if this is the imagery that closes out the show. Who wants to go next? Who wants to give some thoughts on it? Tim, go ahead.
I do feel like its placement kind of hurt it, but I don't think it needed a main event. I think it could have like main evented at the top of an hour. This would have been really cool to do like the 9 o'clock hour and then revisit it at the 10 o'clock hour. Also gives you the chance to like, maybe even if you switch the matches and make Ali versus MVP first and then go to the tag match.
Okay.
It kind of gives the ultimatum of joining the Hurt Business a little more. Like, now that Retribution's got Ali, does now Cruz and Ricochet want in the Hurt Business to take Retribution? Like, there's other questions that could be answered or asked in a different order. I don't think you can vote against Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton in your main event segment, even if the Street Profits and Dolph Ziggler and Bob Roode are also included in that.
Right.
Like, Bob! But yeah, I'm here for it either way. Like,
yeah, I said it on Tuesday with Ryan. I bit the hook. I'm on the line.
I was kind of hoping for an unmasking.
Like the other members unmasking.
I think we'll get there.
I think that like they're masked until Ali is here, and then Ali is like, get them off, and like these are code names for people until he solidified, and then like, especially now that he's like, the tweet that he just put out where he basically on Front Street said the people are the dude that got F5'd, the dude who got beat up by Karrion Kross, the dude who was in that tag team with that other guy who got fired, and Keith Lee's girlfriend.
Right. They're not keeping a secret as to who these people are.
No, not really. Not anymore.
Yeah. So hopefully, that their human names will be returned to them at some point in time. But yeah, I think we'll get there. I agree with you, Ryan, on that one. I think we get there. Ryan, your thoughts on?
I'm in Big Jim's camp. A 6-man tag match doesn't need to main event, even if it does have your big players in it. I think it builds your main faction a little bit more, with Ali going off the air with his hand up, closes the fist, and that's what you cut off to. And that's your send off to next week. I think that's builds the Retribution brand a little bit more. McIntyre and Orton doesn't need to. They belong at the main event. I'll never not say that, but it doesn't have to. It's not going to hurt them being the bumper match to a new faction. But I do like what we're seeing with Retribution. It's a lot like what happened with Dark Order, I feel, with AEW. It was heavily shat on, and people were like, this is going to be really, really stupid. And then, much like wrestling fans not wanting to let things play out, you let it play out a little bit, and you're like, okay, I see what they're doing. All right, the names are silly. AEW just numbers them, whatever. That's kind of silly. T-Bar, T-Rex, whatever the fuck. It's dumb. I'm not gonna deny that. But like you said, Jim, I think and Tim, we're going to eventually get rid of the names. We're going to get rid of the masks, and we're going to have just a faction of guys that have been held under by the man. Um, so that will differentiate them from a Dark Order feel. I think the masks keep it feeling a bit Dark Order-ish. But again, in all due time, I'm enjoying both of them much more than I thought I would enjoy, especially the AEW and the Dark Order, because I just didn't get it at first. But I think they're hitting home runs lately. And Brody Lee is a big part of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, home runs until last night, but we'll talk about that.
Well, you lay down a bunt every once in a while.
We'll talk about that. But yeah, I hope too that that their stories are told. Like, why is Mace angry? Why is Slapdick angry? Why is I forget, I don't even remember their other name. Why is, besides being, yucked around, I mean, like we said from the beginning, Dio Madden has every reason to be angry. The guy, ended up on commentary, got yucked around by Brock Lesnar. We haven't heard from him since. So that guy has without a doubt has a reason to be angry at the system. But I hope that all of their stories do get to be told at some point. Intern Mark, your thoughts on Mustafa Ali as the leader of Retribution?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was a little bit surprised because I'll be honest with you, I kind of gave up on Retribution. I just kind of dismissed him as something I didn't care about. But having Ali in there, it got my attention again. So it is pulling me back in. It was a nice surprise. And I like Smokey's comparison to the Dark Order with Retribution. That's true. When the Dark Order first appeared, I didn't really care for him. And but boy, I really am into him now, and I have been the last few weeks or so. So hopefully the same thing holds true with Retribution. So we'll find out here. We'll just have to give it some time. Maybe I jumped the gun and dismissed him too quickly. But I was pleasantly surprised with him this week. So hopefully they keep that going.
Yeah, if you're following along with us, Devin says he loves it. If you're following along, let us know your thoughts throughout the discussions during the night here as we go along. But and give the video a like and a share. We'd appreciate that.
One thing about Retribution that I really am liking, and Jim, like you brought up their stories, is that all of their stories are going to be very, very different. Dio Madden's story is what it was. You have T-Bar and his story, like what he was in comparison with Keith Lee. You have Shane Thorne, a tag team wrestler whose tag team partner got fired and let go, and he was just kind of there to wander on his own. Mercedes Martinez doesn't even have to be angry at the WWE machine, but be angry at the wrestling machine that it took so long for her to even get signed.
Right.
What was she missing? What kept her out of it? So everybody's story is going to be so different that if told properly, it's going to be an absolute home run. And you're going to build some sympathy for these guys.
Like what?
And then whenever they do that big dastardly act or whatever, it's gonna be really, really good. And the WWE has the capability to do this. We've seen it with like the Reigns and the Usos, so they can build really compelling storylines if they just let their true selves kind of come through. And I think we can do that with Retribution. And it's Retaliation and Reckoning are the other two names.
Those, yeah.
Yes, of course. It's right on the tip of your tongue.
Besides the awkward car ride from the Philadelphia airport, what's Mia Yim's gripe with the rest?
She is very upset at two overweight guys from Lancaster that picked her up at the Philadelphia airport and didn't say a goddamn word to her from Philadelphia to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, because we thought she was asleep.
It's right down the road, though.
It is.
It's
right there past Lancaster.
It's right past Lancaster, right past Route 30. It's like Lancaster, and then you are in Westchester, and then Philadelphia Airport's right there.
I'm just saying that those two fat guys didn't make her forget her headphones. That's all I'm going to say.
No, she forgot them on her own. Our apologies. Our apologies. Miss Reckoning. That's on us.
My bad.
You still have those headphones.
What was that?
Do you still have the headphones? Did you leave
No,
them in the vehicle?
she forgot them at her house.
Yeah, she forgot to bring them on the flight.
Oh.
And yeah, so it because I think what she even like tweet about the fact it was like worst day to forget headphones.
We just something along that line, right? Well, I mean,
covered after the fact.
Might as well, I guess, tell the story the whole way. Like, we were tasked with going to pick up Mia Yim at the airport to bring her to a show. Jim, I know you drove, you cleaned your car, you vacuumed and everything. Like, it looked really nice.
Looked really nice.
You're like an Uber.
Probably best it ever looked, to be honest.
We picked her up at the gate, took her to the car. I carried her bag. I was like real appropriate, real nice about it. And then she like just kind of crashed in the back seat. We thought she fell asleep.
She had
the entire ride.
She had like, food. She said,
she did.
She said, "Can I eat in the car?" I said, "Yeah, that's fine." And she ate, and like she like put her head back like she was going to sleep. I figured, people travel. She was probably up early in the morning because the flight came in like noonish or late morning. So I'm like, she's up really early. Figured she's going to sleep. Okay, continue, Ryan.
So then we don't play any music on the way back because we didn't want her to wake up if she was tired because she had to go perform. And I think she was leaving that night to take another booking the next day.
Yeah,
so we didn't play any music. We didn't say a goddamn word. And it was absolutely deathly quiet from Philadelphia to Lancaster, which is a whole lot further than I ever gave it credit for being. That was my bad.
I think that's where y'all messed up. I think y'all messed up at the point of not having music on.
Yeah, in
like
hindsight,
should have had
music should have happened.
There should have been the radio or something.
Should have been even just to have it on low, just that there's not dead silence.
I remember her. What I thought.
One of y'all should have had the balls and been like, "Can we play? Do you mind if we play some music?"
Yeah, see,
played that song from Not Another Teen Movie.
The funny thing is, like, I sit here and talk on a podcast every week for multiple hours. I get around people I don't know, and I just become like I really do. I kind of like clam up and become very like socially awkward.
I'll be honest. I thought the etiquette was like, just don't interrupt them. They are greater than you in this moment. They are like the person that we're picking up. We're just chauffeuring. And kind of like, if you've ever taken a taxi ride, I don't want my goddamn taxi driver or Uber driver talking to me. Like, I just don't want that. I will talk to them if they want, and then I would expect them to reciprocate. But I don't want them to strike up a conversation with me. It's just my personal. And then it put us in it was an awful situation. Mia Yim, Jade, Reckoning, whatever you go by. I apologize for the awkwardness.
Yeah,
She came too. I think she sat up in like Lancaster, and I'm like, "You ever been to Lancaster before?" And she's like, "Yep."
It was down. It was just
so bad.
It was
so
just
bad.
past the 4130 split, and traffic. Because traffic down there on a Saturday afternoon, it just is the goddamn worst. So we came to like a complete stop. We're crawling, inching on, and yeah, Ryan. Ryan, I think had the only question that was uttered in this, hour and a half car ride was, have you ever been to Lancaster before? And then that was it.
I think she said, "Yep, I've traveled through," and my response was, "Well, nothing's changed."
Yes.
And that was it. That was all that was said.
I think she
Did you
opened
even
the
ask
door.
her how her flight was?
I think that was small talk from the airport to the car.
To the car, yeah. From the terminal to the car. Yeah, so that,
we were talking to the ring announcer. His name's Joel from the Lancaster area, who knows her very well. And he's like, "Oh, Stephanie's so sweet, yada, yada, yada." Like, he knows her on like her real first name basis. And I'm like, where you couldn't have told us any of this shit before we got into this hour and a half clusterfuck of nothingness.
Wow.
Yeah, it's probably the most embarrassing thing that I've done since getting into wrestling. It's so bad.
Question. It was
sorry about that.
I hope she forgives you.
I hope she does.
Yeah, I hope so. And yeah, it was bad. It was so bad, so awkward.
I blame Bill Brown.
Yeah, and that's easy to do. Blaming Bill Brown sounds about right.
He probably doesn't even remember it.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Raw next week. and potentially, I mean, we'll, looking ahead to the draft, Retribution, as I'll explain in the rules when we do our little mock draft later, they are a full entity that can be drafted to either Raw or SmackDown. They could also be broken up, but the likelihood of that happening, I would say, is slim to none. But they are the full entity that can. Yes, Ryan.
Why would anybody draft them?
Well, because they're WWE
Excellent question, Ryan. Why would anyone want an actual cancer on their show? Like, they
this is
want
the way
to
get rid of them, right?
it.
Just don't draft them.
Go have fun in NXT or some
then
shit.
They can go wherever they want.
Heath Slater them, and they just want to have a job.
Well, no, we'll get to the rules of the draft later. But
this is the most convoluted goddamn draft I've ever heard of.
No, it's every year is convoluted, but in theory, it's pretty much the same rules as every year.
You have to check out the pre-show. Patreon.com/3CountThursday. Jim tried to explain this horse shit to me. None of it makes sense. I'm frustrated about it already. I feel my blood pressure raising. Not going to be a good night.
That was the French fries from earlier, Ryan.
Is that what it was?
Yes. All right.
Wait,
so
you went to the diner.
I didn't. Do you guys put vinegar on your fries? Yes, no, maybe?
Sometimes.
Never.
Never.
No.
I will at times. It depends on the fry. It depends where I'm eating it. It depends what I'm eating the fries with.
I think that's absolutely disgusting.
Like next week, one of the
Vinegar
dinners
on fries is big at fairs.
Yeah, like one of the dinners on the menu for next week is I have battered fish fillets that I'm going to cook in the oven, and then I will, no doubt, put malt vinegar on my fries and probably on the fish as well.
Fish and chip style, absolutely.
I would rather put malt liquor on fries than malt vinegar.
Yeah, I can't.
Billy D. Williams, Mad Dog style. Just give me the.
That makes me think of the camo triple malt that I used to drink in college. Just not good. Not good at all.
Not good at all.
Like
Mark, I think you have a fly on your head. You got to just shoot that. There you go. Thank you.
That's pretty good.
Don't be rude.
All right, we William does not. William is with you, Tim. Does not like the malt vinegar.
Oh, so good
at all. Now,
it is tasty.
obviously because we're going to talk about food. Jersey Mike's. Okay, has anybody been to Jersey Mike's?
Love it.
Do you enjoy the oil and vinegar on, like the red wine vinegar on a sub?
Never.
Absolutely.
Vinegar goes
Every
on.
chance.
Vinegar only goes on pulled barbecue, and very little.
I mean, I'll put it on barbecue as well.
What about on a salad?
Like a balsamic?
Now, Tim, you're not like born Lancaster County, correct?
No.
So you would not do like ham and potatoes and string bean with white vinegar.
No.
I don't like ham and green beans and potatoes.
Oh, really? No, that's
it's
such
so
a
gross.
Dutchy thing.
I can't.
Wow.
Oh, it's so gross. That is one Lancaster County meal that I have never liked.
Unreal. I can't. It's shocking.
Ew, it's so gross. It almost
like
gives me
ham?
chills thinking about
Just ham in general.
I enjoy ham.
I love ham.
And I enjoy green beans and I enjoy potatoes in most forms. But you put all that shit in that weird stew.
And just dump some vinegar on it.
Ooh.
That's good eating.
No, no, I don't like that.
They had really.
I don't like that. William likes Jersey Mike's though.
They had really good ham loaf over there at the diner. Oh, ham loaf.
That is a good ham loaf.
Jim, will you eat the ham loaf?
Tim, are you a ham loaf? Have you ever had ham loaf? Tim?
I've never had ham loaf.
You should probably try it.
Sounds disgusting.
Do you like meatloaf?
Yes. So
Okay.
why
Nope,
change
not
it?
the same. Thank you, Tim.
Why change meatloaf? Meatloaf is delicious.
Right. And
I don't
so
need
is
you to
ham loaf.
replace the ground beef with ham.
Dude, it's so good.
Nah, fam. I'll
It's
just take ham.
delicious.
Now,
Ryan,
Tim, again, not being a
So
Pennsylvania guy, I would much rather have a ketchup on my meatloaf
Yeah,
rather than a gravy on my meatloaf.
Yeah, Ketchup
I don't
on
know if
meatloaf.
I've ever
okay,
had
okay.
gravy on meatloaf. Who puts gravy on meatloaf?
Anywhere other than this area, like go to
Oh,
a diner and
okay.
order it. They will give it with gravy.
Ew.
Has Big Booty Judy put gravy on your meatloaf before?
You're just giving
Stop.
out her full government name out here.
Come on now.
We do initials, dog.
BBJ.
You're
You'd be
trying to
doing
get. You're trying to get.
BBJ.
You're trying to get us spoken for folks in trouble.
Nikki's got to go. Business calls. Nikki, she's got to go back to work.
Bye,
Enjoy it.
Nikki.
Goodbye, Nikki.
Thanks for
What?
joining.
Nikki.
Just
Thanks for
take an
joining
extra
us again
15
this
minutes. It's on us.
Yeah, tell the boss I'm watching 3 Count Thursday. I'm sure that'll work well. Now let's go to the 3 count question of the week. We are at the pretty much the 1 year anniversary point of NXT on USA, AEW Dynamite, and SmackDown on Fox.
Oh, I dropped my pen.
So I kind of wanted to revisit and go over some of the highlights for each of us. And again, if you're following along in the live video, play along with us on this one. I'd like to hear some of yours as well. Some of the biggest, matches, moments, whatever, memorable moments from the year in these 3 shows. Does anybody want to kick us off?
I made it very simple. What was the other show? SmackDown, right?
Dynamite, SmackDown, and NXT on USA.
Yeah, I just kind of picked moments from this year that I thought stood out. COVID era, during the COVID era, however that was. AEW, I was absolutely hooked, and I thought they built.
Uh-oh. Ryan froze up.
He's frozen.
Ryan.
He's like the snowman.
Ryan's face looks like he's spotting a
Maybe-
grumpy.
Poopsie daisy.
Yeah, come on, Ryan. Force it. Get it out.
That's pretty good.
All right. Well, I'll kick us off until Ryan returns.
He's
or
in the time warp right now. Golly. Help someone get that man
Look at
some
him.
milk or something.
someone unpause Ryan, please. For me, I look back
Ryan.
and like the Wednesday nights, the first night of the Wednesday Night Wars, NXT on USA, and Ryan disappeared. Hopefully he jumps back on with us. Tim, don't
We
panic.
lost him.
Don't panic. His phone just restarted.
I'm totally panicking. Hold on.
And his phone restarted. Tim, you do what you got to do. I'm gonna talk here for a second. Opening night, you have AEW in Washington, D.C., the Capital One Arena where the Washington Capitals play, a WWE venue, so to speak. It's on that scale. Then you have NXT, and just to have a different show to that scale on that size, like it just, it is something that I didn't really think that we'd ever get there. Like you go back to the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, stuff like that. I'm huge on the screen. I really didn't think we'd ever get there. I didn't think we'd get back to that point in wrestling and to have another show. And again, you're competing with the WWE's third brand and I have fun with it and all of that, but it's wild to see another show on that level. And then on the NXT side, you had Finn Balor returning, to NXT and getting back into that world. It was just, for the first time since WCW got bought out, it was the first time that it was like, we can do the, previous channel, flipping back and forth, picture in picture. I got one on TV. I got one on the iPad. I think Ryan had even come over to the house because, that was a time in the world when you could actually go to other people's houses safely. Imagine that. It was really a wild time. But yeah, I have some other ones written down, but I'll throw. We'll go to you next, intern Mark. A memory moment match, something from the year that was in these shows.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a great year to be a wrestling fan, and it still is, to have, like you said, with the competition and flipping back and forth. I really, same as you, Jim. I didn't think we'd ever get there again, but here we are. I want to tell you what, AEW, the best friends with Orange Cassidy. Boy, those guys, Orange Cassidy especially, that guy's going to become a star. I've become a big fan. Brody Lee jumping over to AEW, that was a big deal. His whole character is just great. The best friends and Sue and their minivan, which is just recently. Boy, I can't get enough of that. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Um, let me think. I don't know if there's one piece that stands out. I thought even last night Cody's promo after winning the TNT title again. I mean, that guy Cody Rhodes is like his dad would be so proud of him. He's an all-star. He's speaking from the heart. No scripted promos. I thought that was really great, his speech last night. And Cody's given some really good speeches in wrestling. Since starting up
I had
AEW.
written down one of mine was his, the 14 years promo, leading up to Full Gear last year. I mean, we have it in our intro. Like those Rhodes boys know how to promo. If there's one thing besides wrestle that those Rhodes boys can do, Ryan's coming back in. If there's one thing that those Rhodes boys know how to do, it's cut a promo. Like they do it. They know how to do it. It's passionate. You can tell that they love their craft. They're good at their craft. They work on their craft. It's not something that they just get by doing. They are great at pretty much like all things professional wrestling. Like they know how to do it. I think, Ryan, do we have you on audio?
Looks like he's muted. Oh, there he is.
I should be unmuted.
Okay, we're good. We can hear you now.
So
he's back.
I had my phone. I bought a new holder for my phone, and I had it pressing in the power button that whole time. And I adjusted my phone, and it shut my phone off. So that explains what had happened there. My apologies. I just have to have it a little higher, I guess.
Studios.
Whoopsies. So Ryan or Tim, whoever wants to go next, any matches, memories from the year that was in these programs. Lou joining us, Scotty joining in with us. How you doing, guys? Yes, Ryan.
I was just waving.
Oh, well, then I'll throw it to you.
I'll go then. That's fine. I think Orange Cassidy was built really, really well with Chris Jericho. I enjoyed that program, so that would be my AEW nod. I think the biggest moment for NXT this year, and I don't know why my first thought when I saw this question was Karrion Kross having to lay down the championship, and really just his run in general. I guess I've liked everything about Karrion Kross, and then anything to do with the Fiend over on SmackDown. More recently, the Russo and Uso, or Reigns and Uso.
The Russo and Uso.
Russo and Uso. The
Russo and Uso.
Bro.
Was just so good. So good.
Yeah, Tim, how about you?
For me, if we're talking about the year that was from the anniversary of Dynamite onward, I'm trying to think. For AEW, probably the debut of the Exalted One.
Okay.
He was really like the first of the bigger names, bigger current names from WWE that was making their way over. Like, because by that time Moxley had already shown up. He was already doing his thing. But with Mr. Brody Lee, like, it opened the door for like Miro and the other guys who were a part of that original like 90-day wait period, which was very good. For me, NXT, the moment is going to be the double champ, Keith Lee.
Oh yeah,
standing tall with both titles, unifying only to then let it go and then only to lose the title. But it's still a very seminal moment and probably looked upon very highly in the year that was 2020. As for SmackDown, that first SmackDown on Fox was awesome. Aside from the fact that it was, I believe, the night Kofi Kingston lost the SmackDown, the Raw, or the WWE Championship to Brock Lesnar
in a hot second.
In a hot, just bink bonk.
And it, I loved, hated it. Like that was one of the moments I put down. Like I didn't like that Kofi's reign ended that abruptly in that way, but I loved it because again,
if it's SmackDown
moment
on Fox, it's a big moment.
Yeah,
it requires a big moment, you know.
And
curious to see what they're gonna try to do to rival it Friday.
Right. Yeah, it's the season premiere or whatever they want to call it. Because really, if you look at Brock winning it from Kofi. Now, I understand Brock could have won the Universal title on Raw, or if Kofi drops the title to somebody else, Brock could get it, at Survivor Series or whatever. You could have gotten Brock to the title another way and still had the Drew McIntyre story play out as it did. But that was the first part to, Brock wins the title. Then they do the switcheroo because Brock wants to be on Raw. And then it led to the Royal Rumble. Drew eliminates Brock because there wasn't a challenger for him. And then, of course, Drew McIntyre winning the title. Scotty says the biggest NXT moment for him was the rise of Karrion Kross. SmackDown was Roman Reigns. I had that written down too, like the Reigns Heyman, obviously with the recency bias there. And for Raw, you say Randy Orton, the year that Randy Orton has had, especially in the COVID era. Absolutely. For me, I would say the Bob Lashley in the Hurt Business. Like if you would have told me a year ago that one of my highlights of the year coming up was going to be Bob Lashley, an MVP, and their faction, I would have been like, "You're crazy, man. I like you, but you're crazy." And it's been fantastic.
Another really impactful moment for television on 2020 is the debut of the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Like people aren't going to necessarily like think of that, but it was an absolute game changer for WWE television.
Yeah, and they needed it.
They absolutely did. And like to now it's every television now, because now that NXT is in the Capitol Wrestling Center.
Right. Yeah, you don't get that without the Thunderdome.
Yeah. The CWC doesn't run.
Which it looked awesome.
It does look really awesome.
It's really cool. Yeah. I think Ryan and I said on Tuesday that the CWC is what we thought Raw Underground should have looked like. Because you have the fencing and stuff like that. It's dimly lit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't get that. I mean, and good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, you had Performance Center, empty building wrestling for a while. It was something that we could have never thought we were going to see, but they made the best out of a terrible situation. AEW, luckily they have Daly's Place and they've done that, and they've done creative things with it as well. William said he was in attendance for the first SmackDown on Fox. The fans booed Brock big time. Yeah, I mean that should have gotten as much heat as it got. I mean that was the purpose behind it, and it got it. Scotty said his best moment of the year on WWE pay-per-view was Taker in the AJ in the Boneyard match. Absolutely, which obviously as we start inching closer to the end of the year, because we're already pretty much halfway through October at this point.
Don't remind me.
We're gonna have to start thinking about making our top matches of the year, and we'll get to those obviously in a couple of months. So but but you know, a couple other ones, a couple other things I had written down here is you know, you had the pay-per-view Wednesdays, so to speak, at the Great American Bash, back-to-back weeks on NXT. You had, I think they did Fight for the Fallen and Fighter Fest on AEW. So you had these typical, what probably would have been pay-per-view shows on weekly TV. I think you know, Ryan, you had touched on the theme specifically for me was the build to Cena and the Fiend at WrestleMania, because it started when there was still people in the crowds, and then it, you know, they had to get really creative, and I think they did a fantastic job when they went into the performance center. Ryan, when you were off, your phone was restarting. I had said that the 14 years promo from Cody Rhodes, the NXT Fight Pit. You know, that was something different, and I really enjoyed that. And then also, and you know, this is one of those moments, and obviously, you know, Drew McIntyre as WWE champion, and things like that. But Jake the Snake, you know, like FTR arriving on AEW, but I think of Jake the Snake and his arrival to AEW, Matt Hardy as well. Those are moments that it goes in the long list of things that it sucks that it wasn't able to be in front of a crowd, because those things I think would have been bigger, would have felt bigger, would have had bigger impact, reaction, etc. But good on all of the brands for not stopping plans just because, you know, unfortunately we can't have crowds or full, you know, as we are now, full crowds in these buildings. Is there any other moments, matches, memories from the year, or if there's not, then I think we got to take a break. All right, so let's.
Could you hit the Bob button one more time? I just like to hear it.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Bob.
All right,
and on that gets me.
And on that note, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back on the other side. So stick with us. 3 Count Thursday live.
We'll be right back.
Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop. Welcome back, 3 Count Thursday. We are live here on our Facebook page, and we are glad you are joining us here on a Thursday evening and spending a little time with us. We appreciate that. Tim, can we get it? And we're back. Can we get that from you?
And we're back.
Thank you. I love that. I really do. It brings me joy on the Final Wrestling Place, and as long as it's a week where you're with us here, it will bring me joy here as well. So before we get to our WWE Mock Draft, let's look back last night, AEW Dynamite. We had 30 years of Jericho and a bad main event. I did like the videos from different from different celebrities and musicians and all of that. I thought that was a cool touch. And maybe it's just the WWE guy in me. I thought we were gonna get like a bigger actual celebration. Like I expected a typical quote unquote WWE celebration for that moment. But it was just Jericho and Jake Hager versus Luther and Serpentico in a match that I could have gone without seeing, to be honest. And then obviously the other big thing was the dog collar match. Cody and the Exalted One, Brody Lee, Cody regaining for a second time the TNT Championship. But we'll start with the 30 years of Jericho and the match. Obviously, it's a huge accomplishment, 30 years in the industry, but just so much build up to it, and it just that segment, much like last night's Dynamite, fell pretty flat for me. Anyone? Ryan?
Seconded.
It was cute. I mean, did you see the scroll of the credits where everything was Chris Jericho?
The SNL style ending with the credit scroll, that at least made me chuckle.
Yeah, I had a good tee-hee about it. A very nothing happening episode of Dynamite on like for 30 years of Chris Jericho, where we got to see all of his bad choice making people making videos to him. Yeah, there was no, like, to me, there was like nothing really of consequence other than the internet's favorite wrestler, Cody, won the TNT title. And that's it. The FTW title was defended in a match.
And FTR were big weenies.
They're
big weenies.
They glizzy gang.
A year ago we were told the alternative to sports entertainment. A year later, big weenies. Right there. And I'm sure there's t-shirts today. If I go to prowrestlingtees.com,
there are
right now. Yeah, I was gonna say there has to be big weenie t-shirts.
Yeah, they 2 glizzies. Just
awesome. Mark,
Christmas
any
is coming, Jim. Get ready.
I was gonna say, is that gonna be that's gonna be my Christmas present, I'm sure. I think, well, at least that's probably a little better than the blood and guts shirt. Just not a lot, but a little bit. The clown got knocked out too. William said Dynamite was boring, didn't keep him interested last night. Lou says this show brings him joy. Well, that makes us feel good, isn't it? I like that. Thanks, Lou. Scotty says we're better than presidential debates. Absolutely. Trump versus Biden at Hell in a Cell. Matt's refereeing, and the 4 of us are in the commentary booth. Well, I'm glad I don't have to get in that ring for that.
I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah, I don't want anywhere. I don't want anywhere near that.
No.
But then, okay. So again, I've had my issues with AEW, and I get it. There's the first champion being Jericho, totally get it. Then you introduce TV title, cool. Cody gets the TNT title. Then it goes to and I really don't want to do like the ex-WWE guy thing, but like you've now.
But here we go.
So you have 2 singles titles. Now you've had 4 people win them, one of them multiple times, and it is all ex-WWE guys. Like, at some point, are we going to get a Darby Allin with a title? Are we going to get a Hangman Page with the title? Are we going to get a Orange Cassidy? And maybe Orange will be next.
Yes.
Orange should be next, but
yes. I think that's where we're going.
I hope so. But then, like, but also from like a booking standpoint. So in a regular match, you know, Cody gets his shit kicked in 2 minutes, and I get he, you know, had this long run of don't give me that attitude, Ryan. You know, week after week after week of the defenses, and then, you know, he gets his shit kicked in by yes, right, Ryan. Do you want to rebut something?
No.
No, you're okay. You're just gonna.
Ryan's upset.
Obviously, what you have hot about there, stud?
Come on, man.
I'm not hot.
Don't give me.
You're
not
the
hot.
opposite of hot.
It's not. It's not hot at all. There's nothing to say. I didn't even take a tone.
You looked at that. You had a look on your.
It is the soft tones of Big Jim's voice that I find very soothing when he gets on his high horse to shit on AEW. It lulls me to a sense of comfort. It lowers my blood pressure.
Well,
it's a fine moment, and I just got very comfortable and uncorked a yawn. That's all.
When they present me with the shit sandwich of a TV show, it is easy for me to do what I do.
He just found a way in not last segment, but the segment before, to praise the group with guys who they don't even know their effing names. Hey, name everybody in Retribution. It's Bone Thugs and Harmony and Salt and Pepper, right? Is that that's the name of the group?
That sounds about right. And Mace Windu.
Sure. Like that's. You're just gonna start naming members of the Wu-Tang Clan?
To be fair, I
the
can't.
RZA, the Jizza, Inspector Deck, Ooh God, Old Dirty Bastard.
To be fair, I can't name all the numbers in the Dark Order either. If that makes makes you feel any better.
Uno.
10.
Stu
Uno.
Grayson is Dos. John Silver is 4. Alex Reynolds is 3. There's 5. Then there's double 5, 10.
Where's 6, 7, 8, and 9?
Cabana doesn't have a number. Mr. Brody Lee doesn't have a number. Anna Jay doesn't have a number. But 10 is he's the biggest of the group aside from 10 is Preston Vance, aka Vanilla Payne.
Did you see Anna Jay credited Nikki Bella this week with like her getting into the business?
Sure,
further proving my belief that Nikki is the better Bella.
That's already proven, but you don't have to just like run the.
Well, there's some amongst us, both here and not with us, and you know, and I know people are probably worried about Matt. He's had a couple of weeks with no Shane McMahon on his Monday Night Raw.
He's actually walking to the Thunderdome right now to have a sit-down meeting with Shane. He's got some hot takes for Raw Underground, including having a Woman of the Week promoted for Raw Underground.
Can I go on record and say I don't miss Raw Underground one bit?
I do, because it really kind of gave me something that wasn't Raw during the last hour. I mean, just remember the times.
I mean, if you want that, we can just do things like this on the thing, and it'll be fun. You can just watch this.
No, but then there's actual fighting. Don't you like actual fighting?
I'm a lover.
Don't you like actual fighting during your fake fighting?
But it's not actual fighting. It's fake fighting dressed as actual fighting.
No, it's actual fighting. It's the stuff they do in Japan. It's real fake. It's real fake fighting.
It is real fake.
They're shooters, bro.
I was enjoying it. I don't need it, but like it felt like the last couple weeks of it, they had actually been presenting it in a better way, or like a way that it mattered a little bit more. So like,
you mean the last couple of weeks as in the last 2 weeks? I agree with you.
All these flavors and you choose to be salty. But you know, if it never returns, like I'm not going to write WWE on social media and be upset about it. But if it comes back, I'm more than happy if it does come back. But yeah, Dynamite this week just was very meh for me. Sounds like it was that way for a lot of people. And let's move on here to our mock draft. So we know that the WWE draft gets underway tomorrow night on SmackDown. It concludes Monday on Raw. Chief Brand Officer Stephanie McMahon will once again preside over both nights of selections. The rules as presented on WWE.com today: over 60 male superstars, female superstars, and tag teams have been placed into the draft. More than 20 superstars are eligible to be drafted on Friday night. More than 30 are eligible to be drafted on Monday night. Due to the length of each show, for every 2 picks SmackDown selects, Raw will get 3. Tag teams will count as 1 pick unless Fox or USA, in conjunction with WWE officials, wants to pick 1 superstar from the team. Any undrafted superstars will immediately be declared free agents and able to sign with the brand of their choosing. WWE has split superstars into eligible pools for Friday and Monday episodes of the draft. Conversations have been ongoing between WWE officials, Fox, and USA Network, so stay locked into WWE Digital for the latest. I'm not going to go over the full list of superstars. We did post them on our Facebook and Twitter earlier this afternoon. So obviously we're not going to go through and draft full rosters or anything like that here. We don't have the time. And but what I did want to do is take, for each of us, 5 superstars to Raw. Now, it doesn't have to be from SmackDown to Raw. It can just be, if you are in charge of drafting Raw and you're in charge of drafting SmackDown, these are the 5 superstars that you want on your shows. So let's start at number 1. And I'll give my number 1s for each. We'll go around the room: Tim, Ryan, and Mark. My number 1 for each show.
Hey, we need some draft noises. Thank you.
I got you, fam. I got you.
You can't just throw away the D word and not give me the music.
I had my finger on the button. My number 1 Monday Night Raw is Bray Wyatt.
Shocker.
Hey man, come on now. Gotta get some Fiend action on a Monday night. And my number 1 to SmackDown is the big dog, the tribal chief, your Universal Champion and mine, the Fist Man himself, Roman Reigns. Tim, who are your number 1 picks?
With the number 1 selections for both the number 1, the A show, SmackDown, and of course the B show, Raw. The A show will also select the Ooh-Ah Man, the big dog, the tribal chief, the titty freer himself, Roman Reigns, for SmackDown. And for Raw, shocker, the WWE champion, Drew McIntyre.
There you go. Ryan, who are your number 1 picks?
Yeah,
Respect.
I got excited. I got excited. I'm so sorry. Can you play it again?
It happens.
Come in my face.
Thank you. Oh God, it talked again.
Say the goddamn picks.
All right. I, much like Tim Taylor, decided that we need to keep our champions where they are. So with the number 1 pick for SmackDown, we are definitely free in the boobies. And for Raw, we are keeping Drew McIntyre locked in as your Raw champion. I think any pick outside of them, and I think that's what our picks are going to be come the shows as well. So that is the number 1 picks, the champions.
Very good. And intern Mark, who are your number 1 picks?
Well, I hate to go with the flow here, but it just makes sense. I keep the big dog on SmackDown and Drew McIntyre on Raw. I'm sorry that upsets anyone.
Oh, that's totally okay.
But it makes sense.
Devin has Braun Strowman to Raw, Kevin Owens to SmackDown. So we move to our second picks. You can't have a Bray Wyatt without Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss to Monday Night Raw, and Sasha Banks staying with the blue brand on SmackDown with my second pick. Tim.
So the Raw brand for their second pick will take the Street Profits.
Nice.
We will keep them as a team. And SmackDown is going to shake things up a bit. The first steal for my re-envisioning. Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and MVP. The Hurt Business is going to SmackDown.
Wow.
That's a SmackDown act.
That is a SmackDown.
You send them to SmackDown where they belong. They is gonna do some work on SmackDown for sure. So, and especially since they're getting stuck with only two picks, they need SmackDown it would behoove them greatly to take as many units as they could.
I agree. I agree.
Big value taking the Hurt Business.
There you go. Ryan, your second picks.
Almost did it again. Put the brakes on just in time. Jim, I think you are right. I'd love to see what the Fiend can do on the red brand. So with the number 2 pick, Raw would grab and gobble up the Fiend / Bray Wyatt. And in retribution to that, no pun intended, because it is not that group, SmackDown will want to steal somebody from Raw, and they will steal Keith Lee. Give him new music, and everybody will love Keith Lee more than ever.
There you go. I see what you did there. You had got the music in too. And intern Mark, your second pick.
All right.
On
second pick. You go ahead, Smokey. What you're gonna say? Something.
No, you talked over the music.
I'm sorry. Do you want to play the music again, Jim? I'll be quiet.
I'll hit it again. I'll forgive you because you're not a football guy, so you aren't used to the draft sound.
That's fair. That was my fault.
I had no idea.
God damn it! Mark, go ahead.
Is that the music when they do the drafts in football? Because I really had no idea.
Yes, it is.
Not a clue. Okay, I really had no idea at all. I didn't know where it was coming from. But so SmackDown going to keep the Fiend right there on the blue brand, and on Raw, I'm going to bring up the Undisputed Era. How do you like those apples?
Anybody want to tell them?
They're not on the lists, bro.
I don't. Nope.
What do you mean they're not on the list?
You didn't look at the list, Mark.
Yeah.
You didn't look at the list.
Patreon.com/3Count Thursday. Go back and listen to it. It'll all make sense.
There are no NXT talents listed available to be drafted.
Let me look. I have a list here.
The list
hold on, I had Super
per
Market Sleep on
WWE.com. It was only superstars from Raw and SmackDown are eligible.
All right. It's all right. It's okay.
I love the gumption though. I'm here for the UE going somewhere.
Okay, I mean, I was gonna put as in
a perfect world, yes.
It's like an extra category on the end. I was gonna say, if you would have a call up to one of the shows, who would that be? So we know intern Mark would bring up UE to Monday Night Raw. So I won't even ask him when we get to that portion of the program.
No. But so Raw, I'll take Braun from the blue brand and bring him over.
All right.
That'll make things better.
All right. We Devin says AJ Styles to Raw and Ricochet, cousin to Sheamus, to SmackDown. All right, let's go to our third picks. I have, and we'll see how this shakes out as I make the rest of my picks. But SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley to Monday Night Raw, and I have the New Day in full form remaining on SmackDown as my third picks. Tim.
So for the third round, I am going to go with, for the Raw brand, I will keep the Raw. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. Raw will be taking Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn, and SmackDown will be reaching across the aisle and taking Keith Lee.
I like it. Now, will he be getting new music in your brand as well, or
Fox ain't gonna have that crap.
All right, Ryan, we go to your third pick.
My third pick will see Raw solidifying the Hurt Business and keeping them where they are. I love what they're doing with the Hurt Business. So if I was the Raw GM, I would want to make sure they stay put. SmackDown goes to try to grab some younger talent, maybe more high-flyy talent from Raw, and SmackDown grabs Andrade.
Okay. By the way, Ryan, I like your hybrid Sean Carr shirt that you are wearing. I like it. Insert Mark, your third pick, please.
My third pick, I'm going to go the Street Profits are going to go to the Blue brand. They're going to SmackDown. I'm going to take Matt Riddle and bring him over to Raw.
All righty. Devin has the Miz and Morrison to Raw, and the Fiend remaining on SmackDown. We move to the fourth pick. I have the phenomenal AJ Styles moving back to Raw to get away from Paul Heyman. And I have to balance the women's world back out, the Raw Women's Champion Asuka going to Friday Night SmackDown. So I would imagine maybe they'll just do the old switcheroo on the belt skis there. But Asuka to SmackDown. And then Tim, your fourth pick. My screen moved. 1 second. And there we go.
So the SmackDown brand will keep the New Day.
Very good.
And Raw will take oh god, it's a 2-hour show, Tim. Raw will keep Asuka.
Okay.
That's super.
Right. Very good.
Choice.
Ryan, your fourth pick.
With the fourth pick in this crazy draft that we're doing, I have Raw selecting Heavy Machinery. So we will see the entire team of Heavy Machinery plus the Money in the Bank briefcase going to Raw, which will separate The Miz. All of the bullshit stories about him dropping it to The Miz or Morrison or whatever can stop. It did what it was supposed to do. And now we actually have a challenger where I feel like he has a better shot at trying to cash in Drew McIntyre than the UA man, and it's definitely not coming off Roman Reigns. Plus the Reigns that we get, people are enjoying because we're finally getting the heel Roman Reigns. It just doesn't make sense to do that. So move him over there. He's with his girl. He's got his briefcase. It's a whole new life for Heavy Machinery and Big Oats.
Oh, yes.
SmackDown, again, robs from Raw and brings over Seth Rollins. The Monday Night Messiah has a bit of a rechange. Friday night, whatever they want to call him, the Friday night, I don't know what you would say religious-wise there, but they'll come up with something.
Friday Night Friar.
The Friday Night Fryer. There it is. That's gonna stick real well.
There we go. And intern Mark, your fourth pick.
All right, I'm going to keep the New Day over on the SmackDown, but on Raw, I'm going to bring over Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro.
Very good. Balance back out the tag team title picture. I like it. I like it. Devin has Sami Zayn to Raw and Seth Rollins to SmackDown. So, and then we move to our fifth pick. I have the Miz and Morrison going to Monday Night Raw for similar reasons, Ryan, to kind of get away from that heavy machinery, Otis, Money in the Bank, that whole situation. Maybe put that whole thing to bed, at least for the time being. And I because I feel like Raw too, like if they need some more familiar, like bigger talent and like the Miz's character over there, I think could help Raw immensely. And number 5 for me going to SmackDown is Seth Rollins to get him away from the Mysterio family. So Seth Rollins to Friday Night SmackDown. Tim, we go to you in number 5.
So
don't you talk over that.
So for SmackDown, SmackDown will take Seth Rollins, and Raw will take just Otis.
Ooh.
Oh,
just Otis.
Oh,
Tucky, get the H out of here.
Tucky, we don't need you anymore.
No. Put Otis on Raw, reunite him with Mandy Rose. Ding,
so
ding.
That's so hurtful.
Oh, yes, Tucky, we have our top suspect.
And then SmackDown.
SmackDown will keep their... All right, I said SmackDown would take Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
Right. My bad. Ryan, we go to your 5th picks.
Tim, I can't believe...
Ryan, don't talk over the news.
He's a lost cause.
Tim, I can't believe you're breaking up tag teams like this. It's unnecessary when you can grab both of them. I have Matt Riddle going to Monday Night Raw. I think we're going to see the Bro Show become the Red in Raw. I don't fucking know, but Riddle to Raw, and then SmackDown. Never mind. SmackDown just takes Jey Uso.
Poor Jimmy.
I think that will create a huge rift between them and then further divide them. Keep them apart for a little bit. Have a Juicy UC on each brand, and you can continue the Jey Uso, Roman Reigns family tree, whatever the hell we're doing with the crafts and shit.
Very good. Intern Mark, your 5th pick.
all right, I'm going to say for SmackDown, Bianca Belair is going to go to the SmackDown. And then the legit boss, Sasha Banks, comes over to Raw.
You don't even go here.
I like them. I like those picks, Mark. Devin has the Street Profits staying on Raw. The Hurt Business to
Bob
SmackDown.
God, I hope Sasha
Devin
Banks
also
goes to
has.
Raw.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go for it.
I think Devin also has the Miami Dolphins getting COVID-19. I believe that was one of his picks as well. The entire Miami Dolphins. They're going to open up all the capacity, and they all get the COVID. Is that Devin's other pick?
Yeah, I see that.
I see
that checks out.
Too.
Wow.
All of them.
Savages.
They all get the COVID.
Savages.
They went undefeated, Jim?
They did go undefeated before we were all born. That's correct. That's absolutely correct. Now, intern Mark has already told us that the Undisputed Era would be coming to Monday Night Raw. If, like last year, you would move one superstar or faction or team from NXT to either Raw or SmackDown, which Who would that be? For me, much like intern Mark, I would actually move the Undisputed Era and also move them to Monday Night Raw, especially in light of the fact that you had some sort of storyline lined up, and then pop goes the weasel. That's gone. So now you're kind of left having to rewrite your plans for the Undisputed Era. Make it easy, bring them to Raw. Tim.
Mine is not going to make any sense, but just follow me here.
I mean, it's the World Wrestling Federation Entertainment, brother.
Monday Night Raw will draft NXT North American Champion Damian Priest. So then Damian Priest, like all other NXT call-ups, gets horribly misused and eventually thrown away. Damian Priest is trash. Get him out of here. Put him on Raw Underground. Goodbye.
God, who
and
are
I'm not
you?
talking about Punishment Martinez. Punishment Martinez is dead and gone. I'm talking about the Archer of the Infirmary, the guy who wants to live forever or whatever, Damian Priest. If there's ever been a guy who I disliked more than Finn Balor, it's this 6'9" cruiserweight who's going around doing high kicks and doing Cody Rhodes' horrible finish. Bow and arrow guy needs to go away. He needs to put himself in his own little thing, and he needs to shoot himself far, far away into orbit and send himself into outer space, maybe to the moon with Cameron Grimes, because Cameron Grimes could also go on a short trip, a long trip off a short pier, send both of them, actually duct tape them together, put them on the same bow, and shoot them MFers into the sky on fire. Viking funeral. Get them out of here. So my picks are Damian Priest and Cameron Grimes going to Raw and dying a death. I hope the flights get delayed. Get them out of here. Thank you. The defense rests.
How do you really feel?
Any dumber.
Wow.
Damian Priest sucks.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Damn. Tim firing shots.
It's trash.
Just firing shots, man.
You can at me too, not the tool man. I'll take those.
Unreal.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Damn.
What's redeeming about him?
He does the bow and arrow thing, and you don't like that.
He does the bow and arrow deal.
It's no different than your boy Sting doing the bullshit. It's the same thing.
No. Sting didn't.
Exact same thing.
Sting didn't scream at a screen and then his name showed up in fake fire. This guy is taking over. This guy is taking over for David Starr as the king of unhelpful taunts. This guy's got the bow and arrow. He's got the crouch. He's got the party rock deal. He's got the Scott Hall. If he wants to be Scott Hall, he needs to be Scott Hall and not.
What else are you going to do when the strobe light? You are absolutely going to do that when the strobe lights hit.
That's fine, but he's doing too much. He does way too much. He's the king of doing too much. Just because you can do everything doesn't mean you should do everything. Keith Lee's on notice.
Fucking unbelievable.
Holy cow.
A hat, Cameron Grimes, a hat is not a gimmick. You're lucky Ridge Holland destroyed himself because it would have been Ridge Holland on the thing. But I have mercy on Ridge Holland. A hat is not a gimmick.
What about for Slash?
And may God have mercy on your soul.
What was Trevor Lee's gimmick ever? He was a caveman. He was just a hairy guy.
Yeah, double stomp Jesus or whatever. Like double stomp stupid too. See,
so you didn't like any of that then either, correct?
Oh, I don't like Cameron Grimes at all. Everything he does looks like it just hurts. To the moon. That's about the only redeemable thing he's got right now.
It's a great shirt too.
Absolutely love Cameron Grimes.
That's fine.
I liked as Trevor Lee.
Sure.
Unbelievable. Tim, you are in rare form. Holy shit. Is that what I sound like?
Piece of shit.
Man.
Oh my God.
And Iron Man dies.
To the moon.
Wow. Woo.
Fuck you, buddy.
Wow. I'm gonna just go.
What
Go
you
ahead.
got?
I'm gonna go.
Who's getting drafted?
Jim. I had a name, and then you said superstar when you described the people. It would be a team or a superstar, and I didn't think superstars until you said that word. So the person getting drafted to Monday Night Raw will be Pat McAfee.
Oh, wow. There you
This
go.
guy effing gets it.
That gets a
Realistically, who it's going to be, and I have this written down. It is going to be Cameron Grimes, because it's never the guy we think it's going to be. We all think it should be Undisputed Era. It's goddamn Cameron Grimes. It's exactly what's going to happen, and I'm fine with it. By the way, I love it. I think it's great. I think his gimmick plays to a Raw crowd, a younger crowd, being this crazy like Southerny. I don't even know what he is. I really don't even know what he is. Definitely Cameron Grimes.
Raw is not for the younger crowd.
I don't even know. It's not going to SmackDown.
Raw literally has Antifa on the screen, or what
That's a
some
fair
would
point.
call Antifa.
You're
Law and Order.
Yeah, Cameron Grimes is gonna be Law and Order coming in, wrangling up the.
Don't be rude.
We need
wrangling
Law and
up
Order.
the Retribution.
Law and Order.
Don't be rude.
Wrong.
What about
I
China?
just took some Regeneron. What's the?
China.
Wow. I don't
Exactly, chloroquine.
I'm just I'm almost still speechless from Tim.
Tim has me so
I'm like
kerfuffled.
I got
Ryan's upset.
Y'all thought I actually liked Damian Priest?
well, I just didn't think you were gonna just throw down the hammer.
Well, if he didn't suck so bad, I wouldn't have to.
I mean, there are definitely
Hope I
more
kept my
people.
receipt from WWE shop.
Yeah, now we know. Buy
By
Damian Priest
Cameron
merch.
Grimes.
And much like Damian Priest, I might set that on fire.
You're unreal.
Oh my.
Unbelievable.
reckless. No, hit stop, damn it.
Keep it
Oh,
going.
Jimmy Graham's still alive. He scored a touchdown. How about that?
Who?
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham.
Huh.
I thought that was the dude from the church.
That's Billy Graham.
That's Billy Graham.
Or
I
Franklin
thought that was
Graham.
the wrestler.
Eddie
That's
Graham.
little Jimmy. That's
I
our
thought
truth
he
book.
was a president.
That was the Peanut Man, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, it was
I thought he was a Backstreet Boy.
Little
Yeah,
Jimmy
that-
Carter.
That was Nick
Ulysses S.
Carter.
Graham.
I thought he was in 98 Degrees.
That was Nick Lachey.
That's right.
There you go. And it ends with
I
Nick
thought you were
Lachey.
gonna go. I thought you were gonna go with Crackhead, and we were gonna go with the other Backstreet Boy one.
Oh, that was
The brother.
Crackhead
What the hell
Bob.
was-
Bob!
What was that?
That was Crackhead Bob.
Bob!
Bob!
All right. If who is one person that if NXT was part of the draft, or if they're gonna make a move to NXT, who would you move from one of the main roster brands to SmackDown? For me, I would love to see Kevin Owens go home to NXT. I think Kevin Owens in NXT, first off, I think you could actually move some eyes to the product that don't necessarily watch it all the time. And also, I think he could have a lot of fun right now in NXT. So, Tim, and tread carefully.
Well, there's a lot of space has been freed up since we sent Damian Priest and Cameron Grimes into orbit. So I think we've got some room. I actually think Bailey going back to NXT would do a lot of good, especially this role model persona, taking it back to her roots, especially now with the super stacked women's division now in NXT with Rhea and Io and Candice and Toni Storm and person who could have also been sent into orbit, Ember Moon. Like, literally, It's in her name. She could go to the moon. Work
Ryan.
has sucked lately. This is very helpful.
Yeah, apparently, you're getting shit out, man.
Let it all out.
Ryan. If you could move somebody back to NXT, who would it be?
Jim, I'm going to stretch the rules here a little bit and move a tag team back to NXT. And I would move Cesaro and Nakamura back to NXT. I think you can break them up. Cesaro then can eventually have a singles run and regain that momentum he had. And Cesaro can just make every goddamn tag team wrestler down there. Just make them all.
All right. Intern Mark.
Cesaro, if I had to pick one, just Cesaro.
Okay, no, you can move a team. That's fine. That's part of the parameters.
Well, how dare he split up a team? That's very inconsiderate of him. So he has to send the whole team down.
I split up the Usos.
They split up the Usos.
Well, correct. I'm not really part of this. They're split.
Intern Mark, who would you move to NXT?
Well, Smokey stole my pick. I was thinking Cesaro, but
you could make that your pick. That's okay.
Daddy, chill.
Well, I don't want to take it from Smokey. Smokey's got it. I like it. How about what about Nia Jax? Put her back down there.
Oh man, you're gonna break up that tag team. Team Shania is fucking awesome. I love Team Shania.
I hate to do it. Who else would really benefit by
You're about as reckless as Tim.
I am so controlled in this.
Reckless.
Don't even talk to me about who needs to go away in AEW.
Who needs to go away in AEW?
Will Hobbs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Him and Brian Cage.
Will
they can
Hobbs.
both.
Yeah.
Two of the same dudes. Oh my God. That opening match on Dynamite. What the hell was that?
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was garbage.
It was a double.
Will Hobbs does two spine busters, and the not cool one is his finisher. Get out of here. I'll tell you how I really $2 a month, patreon.com/3CountThursday. If we get 5 patrons, I will do a weekly segment where I will roast one person every week on the Patreon. But we got to get to 5.
Just do it. Shut up and take my money.
And it's going to be like a full 10-15 minute rant.
$2 a month. That's all we're asking, folks.
I'm giving you an hour's worth of content for $2 a month.
$2 a month.
15 minutes a week. Like, I will give that to you.
You can't go out as much as normal. Like,
it'll be a video. It won't even be audio. It will be me right here.
Yes.
I will find a dry erase board. I will write down exactly what is going on.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I will tell
people.
y'all.
Get it.
Just do it.
Do it. $2 a month. Make it happen.
Send it.
All right. Sauce it.
Sauce it.
I think Ryan died again.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what happened.
Ryan left.
He needs
Tim upset and be scared.
He needs to get his shit under control. All right, let's move to the news and rumors here, and then we'll close up the show. This one seems like a terrible idea, but we'll talk about it anyway. As phase 3 of reopening from the coronavirus pandemic continues, the office of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is giving clearance to the NFL's Miami Dolphins to go full capacity, 65,000 fans at their home games, which take place at the Hard Rock Stadium. That means WWE could likely do the same with fans in attendance if they move WrestleMania 37 to Raymond James Stadium. As noted last week, there are currently plans in place to move WrestleMania 37 from the Los Angeles area to Tampa. WWE's WrestleMania 37 is currently scheduled for Sunday, March 28th. While WWE still has WrestleMania location listed as SoFi Stadium. In Hollywood, it's believed they will be announcing the new venue soon. Raymond James Stadium, of course, is where WrestleMania 36 was originally scheduled to take place before the pandemic. WWE would not confirm the venue change for WrestleMania 37 when asked last week. They did issue the following statement to the media. We have nothing to report, and given the current environment, we continue to monitor locations for all of our potential events. Yeah, I mean, and I know like a lot of times when I post the blank days until WrestleMania post, I will get a, well, they're not, it's not going to be in Hollywood until something's official. I'm still going to share some of the Hollywood logos. That said, I don't anticipate it being in Los Angeles. I do think that the WWE will move the show simply because I don't think LA is going to be allowing large gatherings like that. You know, just that close to the wintertime. Florida, because of their governor, does seem to be a likely landing spot, and you never got to have it at the Tampa Stadium this year. Here's the thing, like William here in the chat says, keep WrestleMania in LA. What I think is going to end up happening is WrestleMania 37 will be at Raymond James Stadium. WrestleMania 38 will then be at SoFi Stadium because, dear God, by the time 2022 rolls around, we best be back to fucking normal or I will lose my goddamn mind. Then we talked about, of course, the injury to Ridge Holland, injuring his knee during NXT last night. But also yesterday on Twitter, NXT champion Finn Balor announced that he suffered a broken jaw in 2 places. He wrote, still the champion. His time frame for being out of the ring has not been announced, but the usual recovery time for that is around 4 to 6 weeks. He, of course, suffered the injury during his win over Kyle O'Reilly at TakeOver 31 this past Sunday. And then WWE Performance Center announced Ryan's coming back in. And see if we third time's the charm, maybe. And well, we will be wrapping up here shortly. But new WWE Performance Center class has been announced by the WWE. Evolve standouts, NCAA All-Americans among new recruits at the Performance Center. The group can count among their ranks independent wrestling standouts, and like I said, NCAA All-American wrestlers. There is 8, I believe, 8 superstars. So congratulations to the new class of the Performance Center. You can see the full announcement on WWE.com. William said he's already lost his mind with their governor's decision. It's a hard time, man. You know, there's not an easy answer to any of this. You know, like every state's trying to figure out what's right, what's wrong, what's smart, what isn't, and just how to deal with it. But hopefully we get out of this crap the sooner than later, and we can all start resuming something that resembles a normal life. So unless anybody else has anything to add, I think we're going to close this thing up. Anybody? We good? All right. Let's wrap this thing up. Tim, you got anything to plug?
You know what? I actually do. At Not the Toolman across all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat if you care. When I stream on twitch.tv/Not the Toolman. If you like podcasts and you like them a little more retro feeling in wrestling, we are covering events we've been to live on Final Wrestling Place. You can get that wherever you get your podcast, wherever you get this podcast. So Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, wherever you get your podcast, you can get this one too. This week we actually cover an event that old Big Jim went to. We are covering In Your House Seasons Beatings from the Hershey Park Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Big Jim, don't forget to send in your notes from what you remember live about the event so we can cover it on the show. But we're on social media at Final Place Pod on Twitter. We'd love to have you guys join and listen to podcasts. They're about an hour and 15 minutes. We don't just talk wrestling, much like here. We cover a lot of stuff. It's me and my best friend Marcus. And it is a good, fun time. Hope to have you there. And as always, be sure to, I know we'll probably cover it, but there's a little something on YouTube coming up in the next couple of days that people might want to check out. So.
Oh, Devin says, love you guys. Have a great week. He's dropping some big news soon. Looking forward to that. Talk to you guys next week. And fuck you, Ryan. Ryan, you got anything to plug, bud? I guess not.
No, that was for Devin. That was for Big Devin.
So
that was for Big Devin. Yeah, follow me if you want. I don't give a shit. My musings, all of my political shit ended up on Twitter. So that's pretty much all I tweet about anymore right now. We are in the midst of a presidential election. I don't know if you knew this. This is things that are happening. It's RYN Eagle if you want to play along. If not, I don't give a shit. Don't follow Tim, follow somebody else. It's probably more exciting, but I need a place to vent. That's my place to vent. Yeah, big news. We're going to talk about it next week for sure. No, we're not. Let's talk about it this week. This week is the last time I really get to talk about it. I think on the 13th, we're going to be heavily advertising this. It's going to be a brand new show coming out on YouTube. I don't want to talk about it. I know there was a teaser video release. We released that. It's looking really, really good. I'm super excited about it. But the Pro Wrestling Empire returns the 13th, October the 13th. That's a Tuesday, yes, with Battleground. So should be really, really cool to watch. I hope everybody enjoys it. And maybe you'll see somebody you know. Maybe.
All right.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Intern Mark, you got anything to plug?
Well, I got a few things. First of all, Tim, that show at Hershey, that was the Bulldog and Bret Hart, wasn't it? Was that the main event?
Yes, sir.
I was at that one too, and I didn't even know Big Jim back then.
No, we did not.
So disappointing.
If you've got
It
notes,
was a good
too,
show.
if you've got notes too from the show,
We
you
didn't know
can
each
send them
other.
in too. That's fine.
All right, I'll send you some notes. I do remember. I remember that show, and probably some stupid details nobody else would remember, but nothing about the men's room there at the Hershey Park Arena. I want to give a very happy birthday shout out to our good friend and three-count brother Matt. His birthday was yesterday. Is that right?
It was
2 days ago.
I think it was yesterday.
But happy birthday. I think it was yesterday. Happy birthday, Matt, wherever you are. And let me see what else. I'm trying to think of something to plug. Well, Hershey Park, Halloween at Hershey happening. Hershey Park in the Dark, that's underway. That's exciting. Probably Friday night's a better night to go up if you don't want the full experience. But if you want to see crowds and go up this Saturday or Sunday, and be sure to wear a mask, social distance yourself. Yeah, that's about it.
All right.
I think I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's great to see everybody.
Hey, thank you for joining us, Mark. We couldn't do it. We wouldn't want to do it without you. You can follow me at Big Jim Sports, but make sure you are following the show. That's the important thing. Head to 3countthursday.com. Make sure you check out our collar and elbow brand deal, our merchandise, our Patreon, patreon.com/3countthursday. Our home network, of course, is NGSC Sports, and the sponsor of the show, Arena Eats. You'll hear from them here as we close out the show. But until next week, everybody, wear your mask, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin. Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?